John Lusker of Lusker Archery Adventures. Series testing, successful hunting. I've got a really crazy broadhead to test today. It's called the Aftermath by Ghillie monster. Okay, I'd never even heard of them, but a buddy turned them on to me and I reached out to them and they sent me a couple packs to test. And it is crazy, all right? So let's see if it's crazy good or crazy bad, all right? I'm gonna be using all my testing protocol for 2022, and I'm gonna be using my Bowtech CP28, set at 72 pounds for most of the shots. I'll use my SR6 for some of them as well. And then I'm using the Bishop FOC King arrows for most of the shots, but then I'm using the Bishop Archery FAD eliminators for the really hard impact ones. So let's zoom on in here and check out the Aftermath. So here's a good look at the Aftermath, and when you first look at it, you think of it as a pretty normal looking mechanical broadhead in some ways, but then when you look more closely, you realize it has some very unique, intriguing, and honestly somewhat perplexing features to its design. So it's pretty cool to examine it here. So first of all, you see it in the closed position, very low profile, making it a good flyer overall, I would imagine, fairly forgiving. The tip is like, it's rounded like a field tip. And, I prefer tips that have a chisel cut to them, to where they're sharp. I found that those penetrate a bit better. However, this one is really narrow and long, and honestly, it's also less expensive to be able to do a circular tip like that. I'm not sure that's why they did it, but that's just something to consider. The blades are held in place by this unique little plastic wrap. Okay, it's a pretty durable plastic wrap that goes over the end, and then the tip is tightened up over the top of that wrap. So that's going to hold them securely in place, they say, even through the highest speed crossbows. As you can see here, the little wing butts, they're not sharpened upon impact as the head penetrates, and it hits right here on these little wing butts, the ends of the blades. That forces the blades back. They cut through this little plastic wrap there, and they're sharpened on the back. And as they penetrate, as the broadhead penetrates, these actually come back fast enough to cut through the hide from the inside out. Okay, that's the way they've designed it, and that's their claim. And then, as you see, they're also sharpened on the other side as it penetrates forward. So let me show you the head in an open position. Now here it is in the fully open position. You can see that the wrap has been broken through by the blades, and these back edges, they cut as they open back like that, and so they cut the tissue, cut the hide, and then this is actually fully deployed. Okay, the blades remain facing forward. These main blades are angled forward. You think of it as kind of the opposite of every other broadhead made, although these two little inner blades are angled backwards, and they're sharpened as well. So you have one cut kind of angling back like that, and then you have another cut angling forward like that. Really interesting. And the blades lock in their open position. I would imagine it's considered barbed in the states that have laws against barbed broadheads, so you just need to check that out. So it's interesting that these blades are cutting on both sides like that, in this direction as well as in that direction. A lot of pieces. There's a pin holding these blades together, a pin here, there's a pin in the center, and then there's this pin. So it looks like there's 4 pins. The blades have a cutting diameter of 2 1/8 inches when they're fully opened, and again, they do lock open, and they're 0.035 inches thick. However, that 0.035 inches thick also has this double bevel to them. So you can see on the ends, it gets pretty narrow like this, and then with the double bevel on both sides, that's going to make these ends not super durable, okay? Even though 0.035 is, pretty normal thickness, it just gets a lot thinner than that due to the beveling. So now what they say about this broadhead is it's designed for lethality. It's just going to cut both directions. It's going to get like the tissue and veins and stuff stuck on in there and pull them through the hog or the deer, whatever animal you're hunting, and just wreak all kinds of havoc on them. Okay, that's the way it's designed. And they note, even on their YouTube videos on their website, that they're not designed for great durability. And you can imagine that just looking at it with all those little parts there and so forth. It's kind of, as they say, a one and done broadhead in most situations, but they don't market it for its extreme durability, just for its lethality. Oh, I do want to note that the way you close it is in the back of the broadhead. There's a little hole right there, and each set of broadheads comes with one of these tiny little Allen wrenches, and you just slide it all the way into the back into there, and then you loosen up the screw. There's like a little screw that you pull it out, and then the blades slide back forward, and then you tighten it, and then that's what controls the tension and the opening of the blades. So that's how you close the blades. You can't just push them back closed. You'll probably cut yourself. You pull that bolt out, close them, and then put it back in all the way tight, and then loosen it 2 more revolutions. Okay, so let's see how this aftermath performs. Okay, here's the entrance hole, kind of normal, but then check out this exit hole. Jeez, that's incredible. $200. The aftermath penetrated 6.5 inches. $200. It penetrated through 49 layers. Okay, this was kind of interesting. So here's the entrance hole in the leather, but then if you peel the leather back, here's the entrance hole in the cardboard. And you can see it really made a nice big 2-inch plus cut in the initial side of the cardboard. And then here's the back side of the cardboard. It had like 1 3/4 inch cut. So the first shot through the MDF, it did fine. But then in the second shot, at first I thought just the blades got stuck in the MDF, but actually the blades came off in the MDF, as you can see here. And you can see just they completely detached. A little pin inside broke off, and so that's why the blades just fell out. And the tip also got a bit bent on that second shot, and you can see the base of the ferrule, the blades kind of bent back into the ferrule itself and made a bit of a divot there in the ferrule. So because of this, it's not going to make it onto the steel plate or the concrete round. So what do you think of the aftermath? Hey, you know, it had some real strengths, right? The flight was very good, such a low profile. The cut size is really good. The sharpness and edge retention were really good. What it did to that can was like really impressive. You know, I've seen a few different mediums that it makes this kind of like X cut, you know, like an H cut. It's really interesting the way it cuts. And I'll tell you this, I certainly wouldn't want to get shot with one, okay? So I can imagine it would really wreak some havoc on an animal. Now, the durability was really, really lacking. They say as much, right? I mean, like I said in the introduction, the company themselves say it's like a one and done broadhead, but they say it's going to get the job done. Personally, I prefer something a bit more durable than this, but you be the judge and look through the score sheet and see how it performed in the areas that matter to you the most and see if this aftermath might be a good fit for you.